Let's talk for a few moments about this whole digital citizenship that some people are beginning to talk about. What does it mean?
Understanding how one's perceptions are affected by media is an important step towards learning how to better reorganize and prioritize one's own understanding of themselves and the way they see the world around them. Students need to learn to be critical in how they look at everything around them, as well as have the opportunity to practice these skills. I think we are doing our students a disservice if we are not giving them the opportunity to unravel the media around them and to have a supporting environment in which to critique it. Teachers also need to reflect upon their own understanding of digital citizenship and to ensure that what they understand that their perspective is one that doesn't mirror their students. While most teachers engage in social media, it fades in comparison to the importance social media plays in the lives of children who have been surrounded by it for the entirety of their lives, often without anyone providing them any opportunity to practice it or to better understand the potential consequences in the short and long term. I was happy to see Dave White's new interpretation of Prensky's Digital Natives versus Digital Immigrants. His reinterpretation using visitors versus residents is much more relevant. As a teacher, I can relate to the idea that simply because children have been born with technologies such as the internet and online social communities, doesn't mean they are necessarily good at all technologies. White's addition of a vertical axis showing personal and institutional use can clearly show that while individuals may very well have a well-established resident status in the personal realm, like such as Facebook and Tumblr, they may still only be seen as visitor when using online technologies for academic or institutional use. Many of my students struggle using online apps such as Google Drive because they lack the familiarity with the software, as well as the metacognitive strategies that must be learned to use said tech effectively.
Okay, Atari, let's see your best pitch.
That said, the idea of gamification in the realm of educational apps is likely going to turn that tide. By changing the way we interact with the learned content to something familiar and motivating, students will likely be more capable of showing mastery faster and leaving much more of a residential footprint. An independent study on the effects of Duolingo showed that 34 hours using a gamified way of learning a language per week can be as effective as one university semester in that same language. What has drawn me to using Duolingo as a supplement for learning French in my grade 5-6 classroom is not only the gamified approach to building levels, but the community of colleagues and friends whose progress is constantly available to see. This promotes students to go the extra mile and to make the effort to catch up on those putting more time and effort into the app. This type of motivation captures those students who may have little interest or contextual need to learn another language, but are drawn to friendly competition with others. Even if they aren't sucked in by the gameplay or the interest of learning the language, they are still absorbing content. Other applications such as Prodigy take the same approach, but this time with mathematics, and again students who have had no prior interest or have expressed real anxiety of learning math, especially in the traditional classroom environment, are still capable of finding the motivation and freedom a virtual gamified approach provides to excel. So one thing I was interested in was, does using a handheld device instead of a PC change the way we interact with social media? So there's a study that I found that was done about this, and I was worried that due to the nature of people accessing the web and Twitter through their mobile devices, Twitter would likely become more of a mouthpiece for narcissistic and emotional messages or rants that are agentic in nature and don't serve any other purpose. Not surprisingly, while mobile tweets are still much more egocentric in language than its PC tweet counterparts, there still remains a very strong communal aspect to Twitter, whether approached from the PC or an online device. While this is reassuring, negative tweets were far greater for mobile tweets than those created on a PC. So what does that speak to? This article brought up a lot of good starting points for future research, and it kind of helped me to understand that yes, there are differences in how we choose to interact with different technologies that are interacting with the same software. The National Council of Teachers of English wrote an excellent summary of what new literacies that need to be integrated into the classroom are. The 6 are: developing a proficiency and fluency with the tools of technology, build international cross-cultural connections and relationships with others, so to pose and solve problems collaboratively and strengthen independent thought, design and share information for global communities to meet a variety of purposes, manage, analyze, and synthesize multiple streams of simultaneous information, create, critique, analyze, and evaluate multimedia texts, and attend to the ethical responsibilities required by these complex environments. While this may sound daunting, William Kist, an associate professor of teaching, learning, and curriculum studies at Kent University, wrote an excellent article that helped me to understand that only slight changes in the classroom can accommodate for these so-called new literacies. The first is to give students the opportunity to analyze different forms of screen-based media, including print text, visual art, video, and music. Students may already have an overdeveloped ability to watch video and quickly break down the topic and content of the video, such as its setting, the main protagonist, and others. Giving the students an opportunity to first practice this skill as a warm-up, then presenting them a print-based text will allow for students to make connections between the process they are already using when watching video and what they need to do to break apart the text in the same way. This focus can be easily achieved by making the effort to get your students using blogs and/or using Google Drive for written assignments. Students quickly adapt to these highly motivating and supportive online tools. KIST also proposes students create a multi-genre autobiography, where students pull in a wide variety of different texts, print and non-print, into a digital PowerPoint type program, such as Google Slides, Prezi, Slidecast, and so on. Students then have the opportunity to analyze the similarities and differences of how each text influenced them. Students also have the opportunity to see how digital writing additions, such as hyperlinks, add to the telling of a story, making it more comprehensive. Both the NCTE article on 21st Century Literacies and the IFTF article on Future Work Skills 2020 focus on the need to be able to work collaboratively with others across cultural and physical boundaries through the use of digital technologies. While this may seem like science fiction to many, the reality is that with many businesses being internationally based, with offices around the world, having the tool set to work in this fashion, as well as the ability to interact non-judgmentally with others, will be a huge asset, or may even be the expected norm. Giving students the opportunity to work with other classrooms around the world on projects would be of great benefit to improve student worldview, as well as to see the benefits and the ability to work around or adapt to any possible limitations such technologies and interactions would enable. Collaborative writing can be even done within the classroom through use of a Google Word document that all students in the classroom can edit or add to on the fly. I've found this activity to be a great motivator for students, especially when the document is also projected in front of the classroom, so periodically we can all stop to reassess the working document and to provide praise for student work. Accessing these informational texts through online collaborative projects, as well as the aforementioned multi-genre autobiography, are two excellent ways of authentically incorporating. Having students create their own Wikipedia pages about informational content will also have them sourcing and compiling relevant information, citing the sources, and working on presenting it all in an aesthetically and purposeful fashion. So, who is responsible for teaching digital citizenship? In the end, my main focus in this class was to compile a resource for teachers, schools, and parents to integrate an authentic approach to teaching, modeling, and supporting students with their understanding and practice of digital citizenship. Specifically, I really wanted to use this digital citizenship curriculum as an excuse to build a stronger relationship with our students' parents. I believe that this positive connection to home, with a straightforward, easy-to-implement program that will help keep their child responsible online, won't come across as condescending, but will instead be a relief to busy parents who haven't spent any real time reflecting upon their child's relationship with technology and what that might look like down the road. This is especially poignant with parents who have young children in elementary school, as starting a responsible technology use program at home will be much easier to sell to a young child than to disrupt a teen's already established online presence. Plus, parents, once educated, can hopefully begin using the same routines and ideas to reflect upon their own digital use, and perhaps find that they have been providing a poor example to their children of how to use technology in a balanced, responsible way.